Hey, Allison, how you doing? Okay, so I was reading your writing here. It sounds like you were struggling a little bit. And what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing a pretty good understanding of typographic hierarchy. But what I'm seeing a little bit of struggling with the grid itself. So my main, boy, I think the best thing to do at this point is to jump over to the announcements area and come right over here to this announcement. This is right up here, and welcome to a week 3. And it's the second video down right here. It's called How to Create and Use a Modular Grid. And if you take a look at that, it really kind of describes exactly how the grid works and the function of the grid in terms of partitioning the page in equal areas of distribution, as well as using the grid to ensure good alignment. So if you take a look at this video, I think it'll give you a really good understanding of how to use the grid itself. And then here's some really good examples of this 3x3 grid and how you can use, different areas of the grid. Then over here, there's a couple of good more examples. And also I've linked out here 4 areas, 2 right here describing the grid, and then 2 more right down here for more on the grid itself. So, and basic mathematical theory in design. So you definitely want to take a look at that. Well, let's go ahead and jump over to the compositions. And as I said, I think that you are showing a pretty good understanding of typographic hierarchy. So there are a couple of things here, though. I think that let's go ahead and take a look at the individual. Let's go ahead and take a look at the individual composition. So this composition here is you're making all of your hierarchy is using only grouping. So that's good. That's good. Everything else remains the same. The only difference is things are grouped separately. So this should show you that, based on proximity and grouping, everything that is related should be in one group. So for example, if you're talking about a car, if you got a section around the wheels, those would be grouped together. If you got a section on the engine, those would be grouped together. If you got a section on the paint, that would be grouped together. Do you see what I'm saying? And I think that you're showing that here, so that's pretty good. Now the second composition, you're supposed to introduce one new size and one new weight. But all I see really here is one new size. So to introduce another new weight in this composition, all we would really have to do here is just bold 1964, or even bold, MK2 GT40. Bold one of those two, and you'll be adding. Do you see what I'm saying? So right now you've got everything remains the same, right? Except this is a little bigger. So you have a change in scale. You've introduced a hierarchy based on scale, but we need to introduce hierarchy somewhere in here based on weight. So my suggestion is to take that 1964 and just turn that into bold. That way you'll be encompassing both a change in weight and a change in scale. Okay. Let's jump over to the third composition. Now, the third composition, your third composition actually is adhering to the parameters of the second composition, because what you've done here is actually, no, you don't have any new weights here. You just have new scale. So this is a larger type size. This is a larger type size, but there's no variations in weight. What we're trying to get at here is using bold or some other weight, larger, and adding a type that's bigger to establish hierarchy, and adding type that's bolder to achieve hierarchy. So in your second composition, you would need to introduce both. Yes, a change in scale and a change in weight. In the third composition, you want to add multiple changes in scale and weight. And let me do something here. I want to go ahead and open up a file that you can take a look at. And where the heck is it? Here it is. Let's jump into here. Typographic hierarchy. And this is what I want to look at right here. This PDF. And this shows this is really a good example. This is in the discussion board too. It's up here. So go ahead and go take a look at that. And what I'm getting at is this. Okay, so let's take a look at the first composition. Whereas the first composition here is contrast based on grouping only. Okay, then the second composition, we're looking for one new size and one new weight. Okay, there's the new size, there's the new weight. Okay, so here's the new weight, here's the new size, everything else remains the same. In the third composition, we have multiple sizes and multiple weights. So here's a new size, here's a new size, here's a new size. There's weight here, a new weight here, and a new weight here. So that's the original text, new size with a new weight, new size with a new weight, new size with a new weight. So we've got multiple contrasts in weight and scale. Conversely, in this composition, we have multiple contrasts in weight and scale here. But in this one, we also have to add the image. And the image in your submission, you've added the image here, but the image isn't cropped. So you have to crop that image. Go ahead and crop that background right out of the image, okay? And the way it is perfect because you're bleeding on two sides. So that means the image kind of bleeds. It goes off the side of the page on two areas, and we see that here and here. So all we have to do here is crop out that background, and then you've got all this area here that you can work with to add your multiple sizes and multiple weights. As far as the grid goes, I'm seeing pretty good alignment here. I'm seeing a pretty decent establishment of the grid. However, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. This would be 5 columns. Is that correct? I'm just wondering if this would be 5 columns and set up, because right now I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. And this one is a little bit broken. I'm not real sure if you even have room for that last column in there. But we can see that this is set up for that column. So that's set up in the second column. This right here looks like there and there. Yes. Okay, so actually I am seeing an underlying grid here. One thing I'm seeing here in the title area, though, is your type is really encroaching on what would be considered to be a no print area. And in typography, you can bleed the type off the page for a dramatic effect. But right now, this is looking more like a mistake. It just looks like it's too close to the page edge. What I would do there is go ahead and reduce that down so you're honoring the right and left margins. Right now, there's no honor to the right margin. Left margin. There's the left margin. You can see that the 1 is off. Then here's your right margin. You can see that is off the margin. We bring that in and respect that margin that you've established. Okay, so those are my recommendations for moving forward. I hope I did a good job of explaining how to add multiple sizes and multiple weights to create hierarchy. If not, let me know. I'll try to clarify. But those would be my recommendations for moving forward. So if you have any questions at all, please feel free to let me know. Okay, thank you very much.